If you're embarking on a digital transformation or an ERP implementation, it's important to ask yourself, are you simply implementing technology, or are you going for more of a broader transformation? I'm going to talk about the difference and how you can navigate that decision here today. My name is Eric Kimberling. I'm the CEO of Third Stage Consulting. We're an independent consulting firm that helps clients through their digital transformation journeys. And one of the most recent books I read was a book called Scaling Up Excellence. And it's a book about how organizations can not only scale and grow, but how they can spread excellence and higher performance throughout their organizations. And as I was reading the book, I couldn't help think about digital transformation and ERP implementations and how so many of these projects are focused on technology and are treated as IT projects. And they really miss out on the more fundamental opportunity to change and improve the business and to really spread and scale excellence, as the book would say, throughout the organization. So what I want to talk about today is how can you navigate this and really incorporate and integrate some of these concepts of excellence and scaling up for excellence within your digital transformation or ERP implementation. One of the tenets of the book, Scaling Up Excellence, is the whole concept of culture and how to define a culture and create a culture that supports the types of excellence that you're trying to achieve. And first of all, it helps to define, what does excellence mean to you as an organization? Does it mean that we service our customers better? Does it mean that we're more profitable? Does it mean that we're growing faster? Does it mean that our employees are happier? Is it some combination of all the above? Is it other things we haven't talked about? So really defining what it is that we're trying to accomplish in terms of what sorts of excellence and higher performance we're trying to achieve, and then defining what kind of culture is it that's going to best enable that. And oftentimes this is the furthest thing from the minds of a CIO or a ERP implementation project team or a project manager, but it should be top of mind and it should be front and center in terms of what your focus is. Because if you simply implement technology within the same culture you have today, chances are you're going to get a watered down version of what you could be. You're just going to have potentially a better technology or a better looking technology that doesn't deliver necessarily any tangible results to your organization. So first and foremost, you want to define what that future state culture is and develop some sort of cultural transformation plan that'll help you navigate and help you migrate to what that future state is. One of the things I really like about this book that I've referred to in this video is they use a lot of analogies and they tell a lot of stories about history and wars in general. They use a lot of military examples of what the military does to win wars and to spread ideas and to be successful overall. And one of the concepts they talk about that they unpack, which I think is very relevant to transformation, or at least should be relevant to transformation, is this whole concept of having a difference between air wars versus ground wars. And when you think about an ERP implementation, a lot of times it's treated like an air battle or an air war. So we're doing a flyover, we're just hitting the high level types of improvements we want to make, but we're not getting down to the ground level and actually changing the minds and hearts of the people on the ground. And so when we think about how we communicate our transformation or how we define what our transformation is, we want to be thinking about not only how do we address the air war aspect of our transformation, but how do we affect the ground war? How do we ensure that each individual within the organization is a part of this excellence, is a part of this transformation, is a part of this higher improvement that we're striving for? And we're not going to do it by just sending out an email every so often or doing an all-employee meeting every so often where we talk about this new technology that we're rolling out. Instead, we need to be getting down in the trenches with different work groups, different individuals, different departments, different business units, different geographies within our business to ensure that we're not only enforcing the change, but we're also enabling the change throughout the transformation. So when you're developing a digital transformation strategy and plan and a change management plan to go along with that, it's really important to ensure that you focus not only on the air battle, but also the ground battle as well. Another concept covered in this book is the whole concept of how do we get excellence and higher performance to spread like wildfire. And it's a situation where you have to start a flame first and then allow the fire, if you will, to spread throughout the organization. And so there's something to be said for starting small and really looking at how can we start with some low-hanging fruit to ensure we get momentum and higher adoption and bigger improvements and lessons learned that we can then spread out to the entire organization. Now, having said that, we don't want to take a myopic and short-sighted view of just one part of the organization. We want to look at the big picture and the entire plan and the entire strategy, and we want to define what the transformation is for the entire organization. But when it comes time to execute, it can oftentimes be highly effective to start with a small group and let that spread throughout the organization. It's a lot like the whole concept of agile software development or agile implementations. But the difference here is we're not talking about the technology necessarily. We're talking about rolling out changes in general, which partially includes technology, but also includes process improvements and organizational changes, starting on a smaller scale and then allowing that to spread throughout the organization. So when it comes time to define your plan, it can be very helpful to look at how can we best capture any early momentum and low-hanging fruit to ensure that we turn this into a broader transformation throughout the entire organization. So in order to achieve the highest potential results and the higher performance you're looking for as part of your transformation, it is important to define what that longer-term digital strategy and transformation strategy and plan is. And that longer-term strategy and plan needs to include not just technology and how you're going to roll out technology, but also the organizational change component of things. How are we going to affect people and ensure that people come along for the journey? And also operationally, how do we improve our business processes and how do we design our operations and the organization to go with it in a way that's going to make us better, make us more effective, and allows us to now overlay technology on that future state operating model. So we want to have a clear long-term plan and vision for how we're going to do that, and that looks a lot different than just implementing technology. If I were to put an implementation plan in front of you and a transformation plan in front of you, we're going to have two very different plans there, one being myopically focused on designing, testing, building, and rolling out technology, the other one focused on defining and rolling out business process improvements and true business transformational change. So it's important to recognize and decide what is it that you're trying to do here. Are you trying to simply deploy technology, or do you want to actually improve the business? And I would argue that if you're deploying technology, you should want to do it to improve the business, not simply to replace technology. So if you are going down the path of true transformational change and more of a transformation rather than an implementation, it's important that your plan reflects that and that you're not misaligned in having a technical plan with the intent of achieving true transformation. You want to have both aligned. So that's something to keep in mind, is make sure you have a good long-term plan and strategy that's aligned with what your intentions are. So hopefully this helps you address a fundamental question as it relates to your digital transformation or ERP implementation, which is, what is it we're trying to accomplish? Are we trying to change the business, or are we simply trying to change the technology? If we're trying to change the business, then let's make sure that we build out a plan and a strategy that best reflects that. And by the way, most software vendors and system integrators are going to help you define a technical plan, but they're not going to help you define a true transformation plan. So you want to make sure that you use that as an input, but augment what your software vendor or system integrator might provide as a plan going forward. So I hope you found this information useful. I've also included a number of links below that should help you with your transformation, including our 2021 Digital Transformation Report. I've included a link for you to download that below. I've also included links to other videos and blogs and white papers and even our podcast to help you learn more best practices as it relates to transformation. So I hope you found this information useful and hope you have a great day.